Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world. The Street 919fm.com.
News from the Street 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am VANSSA Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online, Facebook and YouTube. In the headlines, local development ministry still working on clearing roads that remain impassable in some parts of Trinidad. The Police Complaints Authority determines PC Gilks was killed by one of his own. Consumer Affairs acknowledges high chicken prices, says it's an international challenge, and internationally Bitcoin is set for worst quarterly drop in a decade. And now the news in detail. The Ministry of Local Development and Rural Government said in an update last night that it is working on clearing some roads in the northeast region of Trinidad that remain impassable following heavy rains from the potential tropical storm that was expected to hit Trinidad and Tobago Tuesday night. The ministry said it received 4 reports of landslips along the Paria Road in Toco. The ministry said water levels were too high last night to clear the roadway and that cleanup activities would take place from this morning. Up to late last night, parts of the roadway along Paria Road, Toco, were impassable, and drivers were advised to either shelter in place or try alternative routes. The ministry also noted a landslide along the North Coast Road between Las Cuevas and Lafayette as a result of heavy rainfall. In other news, the Police Complaints Authority has completed its independent investigation into the fatal shooting of PC Clarence Gilks, and it determined that PC Gilks was killed by one of his own. The investigation also determined that the officers involved tried to cover it up. The PCA completed its investigation in just over 2 months after PC Gilks was shot during an operation in Rich Plain, Diego Martin on April 22nd. A statement sent to the media said this incident is one of the clearest examples of abuse of police power that the PCA has investigated to date. According to the authority, the evidence revealed that TTPS officers shot at an unarmed civilian, and unfortunately, PC Gilks became an unintended target. Further evidence showed an attempt by the officers to deliberately mislead the acting COP on what happened. In more news, the Consumer Affairs Division issued its poultry price list for June 2022 and said it has noted higher chicken prices, which it said is due to occurrences on the international market. A statement from the division stated that it would like the public to note that reports from the poultry industry indicate that it is currently faced with some challenges and shortages stemming from occurrences on the international market. Consequently, these challenges have resulted in higher prices for chicken at this time. The division reminded consumers that there is a difference between the live weight and dressed weight prices. The Consumer Affairs Division reminds consumers that they should take note that there is an additional fee by poultry retailers for plucking and gutting chicken. Internationally, Bitcoin is on track for its worst quarter in more than a decade, as more central banks and a string of high-profile crypto blow-ups are becoming more aggressive. The 58% drawdown in the biggest cryptocurrency is the largest since the third quarter of 2011, when Bitcoin was still in its infancy, data compiled by Bloomberg show. The decade in between saw several booms and busts, with cryptocurrencies' market value swelling as they gained more widespread acceptance and ultra-low interest rates encouraged risk-taking. But the current market shows a threat to financial stability as Bitcoin prices tumbled again today. Several crypto lenders have been forced to halt withdrawals, leaving depositors scrambling. Also, prominent crypto hedge funds have seen themselves liquidating after running up unsustainable leverage to fuel its bets. And that was the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online, Facebook and YouTube. Recapping the headlines, Local Development Ministry still working on clearing roads that remain impassable in some parts of Trinidad. The Police Complaints Authority determines PC Gilks was killed by one of his own. Consumer Affairs acknowledges high chicken prices, says it's an international challenge, and internationally Bitcoin set for worst quarterly drop in a decade. Do enjoy your afternoon and continue to be safe. I am VANSSA Thomas.
News from the street. 919fm.com.
Bang your belly. I don't understand why you can't keep it real with the black man.